As for the NDA talking about real estate, an absolutely hilarious thing to include in this, I'm more than willing to post the entire NDA if Panda allows me to. Multiple people have confirmed their NDAs have the real estate language in it. It's just a failed copy paste job. For reference, there, after all the Panda stuff a few like 5 days ago, people noticed their NDAs with Panda for talking about, well, I think their calls or something involving TOs. Their NDAs actually only applied to parcels of real estate. So what they were doing is they were using boilerplate NDAs that didn't even apply to the situation. And I guess Ken had brought one of those up as just kind of like a joke, like, damn, there was a lot of mismanagement happening somewhere. And I guess somewhere in Alan's statement, he brings up the NDAs about real estate. But that wasn't like a big point being made. They're just like, hey, this is kind of a goofy thing to talk about with everything going on. And also letting people know if they want to share their stories, they can, because the NDAs aren't actually binding since they only apply to parcels of real estate. I will say that since there's no like verbal proof either side's going to have here, I don't think any of them secretly recorded the call. Taking notes of what happened on either side is completely unreliable evidence. Because let's say I'm in an argument with someone or I'm talking to someone I really don't like, I could easily just be like, I'll just type some fucking notes right now about shit that's not happening in order to use this later if I ever need to. Because there's no way you can ever fully disprove it since it's just a verbal communication. You can literally type anything. Like, you can't put a lot of stock in, I took these notes during the conversation as they happened. On Ken's side or Alan's side, neither one of them really has a whole lot of stock in it. Like, because again, you can just type anything if you just don't like the guy. Like, it doesn't, it's not real evidence. They would need like an unbiased third party to take those notes, yeah. You would literally need a witness there to transcribe it accurately. But even Panda says Alan tried to bully the other org. No. That is confirmed by Panda as well as multiple sources. Like, that has confirmation. What I'm saying is, like, the note taking of live conversations isn't evidence. Like, that's not real actionable evidence. BTS refused to collaborate with Alan because of his conduct, not because of me. I simply reported the exact truth of the conversation with LD and BTS leadership and can verify happened right after the call with Alan in March. I have not been publicly and privately turning people against Panda for months. I've simply been telling the honest story of what happened, which was threats and bullying by Panda, his own org. Threats and bullying that Panda, his own org, admitted to happening. Okay, so that's Ken's side of their conversations. Oh, and here's this. Here's us predicting this drama and situation happening in March, which is why I didn't speak out earlier about this whole thing. I didn't want the entire community and Pandas and org to suffer. It sounds like he is so desperate that he's trying to get Nintendo to bully TOs into working with Panda. Yeah, I don't think that can even happen though. And yeah, response is definitely a massive PR response, which gets the entire community to say fuck Panda and fuck Nintendo. Because Nintendo does actually care about public backlash, and this would be basically Evo, and this would be basically Evo 2.0. The biggest public backlash in history would be shutting down every major TO's ability to sell sponsors and broadcast rights. Yeah, it's the death of the competitive stream smash. This is them talking about, like, this could happen with the way Alan was behaving, I suppose. Where are we coming in here? I hope they don't. That'd be pretty catastrophic for every single event. I don't know what they're thinking right now, but yeah, def could get rough in some situations. I hope not. So this is him acknowledging the Nintendo broadcasting debacle that was briefly talked about in Alan's statement. Jesus, this is so much back and forth, people taking notes and talking to each other here. In that call, Alan threatened BTS multiple times. I reported the threats as the call was happening directly after to LD. My boss at the time, LD was not on the call, but was there as I typed the transcript of it on Slack. Here's a screenshot of me doing so. Dude, Alan's on the call legit threatening me about 2023. What the fuck? To be clear, I did not yell or explode at Alan. Of course, there's no way to prove one way or the other. He may have, he may not have. There's no way of telling. There's no hard proof on either side. Yeah, this was the final act of this play here. There is a lot happening all at once. Oh man, yeah, wait, he just dropped a lot. Holy shit. Alright, yeah, we'll go through that in a minute. Okay, now let's see what Ken says about this since he dropped his evidence. About the tournament selling broadcast rights and broadcast being monetized. Like this one stood out to me as well. The whole like monologue of Ken saying let the can of worms out, willing to jeopardize the whole community or whatever. Again, that's a big claim to make. In fact, part of the reason I left BTS to join Team Liquid in June was because I never wanted to deal with Alan or Panda again. Confided this to multiple people as I left. Panda themselves issued a statement saying they regret Alan threatening BTS, yet he completely denies it happens here. I don't accept your apology because even here you don't actually apologize. You even say accept Ken and only admit the conversation was perceived wrong. That is a fair point. In Panda's official statement, they acknowledged what Alan did and why it was bad. Well, not why it was bad. They acknowledged Alan did threaten BTS, but it looks like Alan's saying that didn't happen and he doesn't even know who LD is, which is a weird angle to play. Ken posted receipts. I've had a feeling he would. I have a feeling there's going to be a flood of receipts coming out after this. Here, I'll pull that up, but I want to finish reading this first before going through it. Oh, this is actually the continuation from one of the screenshots Alan posted, because it's still talking about broadcasting rights in the gray area. Here's me talking to Alan about how running to Nintendo and banging on doors about the broadcast rights is potentially an existential threat to the entire scene. Read Ken. We already went through all of Ken's logs, but again, taking notes of a verbal conversation is not evidence. That's not substantiated stuff. Like, you can say anything there and claim that you were taking notes during a conversation. It's what Alan's done here with his notes. Ken also took notes about it. Either side could be completely lying about what I actually said there as a way of having like a little bit of a weapon down the line should they ever need it. It was a transcript, no? A transcript he wrote. I could have like right now I could say the conversation you and I are having is you confessing to a crime and like, wow. User in chat said, oh my god, he buried the body underneath the pavement. Like, it's useless. Just because you say you're typing what happened, it's worthless unless it's like an unbiased third party that is transcribing it. It's about the dates. The dates don't matter. The dates are completely irrelevant to a typed up transcript that you are doing during this conversation. It would need to be an unbiased third party, because right now my date would check out. My date would absolutely check out. For example, the Flashing Rod 99. Well, I was just hanging out in chat and we were talking with Flashing Rod and he just started making these weird statements. Oh my god, he just made another weird statement 30 seconds later where, holy shit, he changed his grades in the school's computer system. I don't know what all of this means. Like, it's worthless. Like, the date would check out. I was looking at the Flashing Rod, but the information is useless. Like, I just don't put stock into this, like, I took notes during our conversation and this is the truth, because you can't prove it. Which is why it's just hearsay. It just proves they were talking about it back then. Oh, you're talking about Ken's tweet. Yeah, at the very least, his proves they were talking about Alan and his behavior all the way back in March. That is fair. I thought you were talking about the transcripts. That is a fair thing to say. Alan and Ken and LD were talking about Alan all the way back in March about what he was doing and how they didn't appreciate his behavior. That's fair. This is not claiming to be like a transcript of something that happened. This is just a conversation the two of them had in March. That's fair. And both sides have receipts that they were talking about it back then. Yeah, but on Alan's side, it's just him talking about like what isn't, like who isn't signed, who is signed. And like we did everything we could. We gave them as many carrots, but it wasn't enough. If they don't want to join, they don't want to join. Like his is just very matter of fact. Like, yes, we didn't get them. And here's how we responded back then, like internally.